Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to this week's webinar. Super, super excited for all of you to have this incredible experience today. Welcome into the chat. Welcome into the live stream, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, potentially LinkedIn, here in Zoom. Go ahead and populate in the chat. Let's make sure the chat is available and open for all of our amazing guests to come in. We're going to have an incredible rapid transformational coaching open house today. So this is going to be an incredible educational experience where you're going to get a little taste test of what it's like to be in a rapid transformational coaching virtual classroom setting with our head coach, Kira, and one of my favorite people on the planet, Jake Clapson. If you haven't seen the mega video about him and his farm and his family, you should definitely go watch it because it's breathtaking and really amazingly done. Where is everybody from? Just checking in the chat. Here's the chat activated for guests. I'm not seeing anything pop up yet. I think we might have to turn that on. That nearly raised a hand. There we go. People are going through now. We got Vancouver, Washington. We got Texas. I was just there yesterday. Got Germany, San Diego, Colorado, Zurich, Switzerland, Netherlands, England, Trenton, Portugal, York, United Kingdom, Germany, Mesa, Arizona, Rochester, New York, Oregon. We got a lot of US people represent. Idaho, Phoenix, Poland, Canada, Spain, Missouri, Calgary, Scotland, California. I'm in LA right now. Welcome. Latvia, Tennessee, Dubai. Wow, someone from Dubai is on right now. That's awesome. Late in the afternoon, evening for you. Egypt, Colombia, London, Miami Beach, England. Amazing. How many of you have attended a webinar in the past? How many of you are coming around for your second, third, fourth, maybe 84th round of coming to webinars just to get the most learning that you can? Got Heidi said it's her second one. Rosemary, first time. That's amazing. Donna, first time. Yeah, we got a lot of people coming in for the first time, second time, all of them. Peter says he's been to all of them. That's amazing. Peter is a champion. This is wonderful. And how about this? How many RTT, how many people do we have in here who are rapid transformational therapists? Or maybe they've gone through certificate in applied hypnotherapy. Do we have any RTCs in the house? How many graduates or students do we have here? Yeah, Peter's going to be doing RTT in January. That's amazing. Boaz, we got an RTT. Randy's a hypnotherapist. Yeah. ML, RTT student, transformation artist. I'm very curious what that means. We'll have to follow up on that later. Amazing. Well, let me get into it. So today we've got a really packed show going on. Really excited to talk to you more in the chat throughout today, but I am going to be handing you off to two legendary people, like I mentioned. This is going to be an RTC, Rapid Transformational Coaching Open House experience. So get ready for your virtual live online classroom experience for today. It's really interesting doing this one because I'm actually in the Rapid Transformational Coaching education right now. So I'm regularly participating and it's amazing. I mean, it's honestly, I'm getting about twice a week free coaching, to be honest, in the program, because the people that are in the program from day one were already, I think, really competent and were really helping me. And I brought very real things to the classroom experience. Now, you're not going to get the exact same experience that we get in the program itself, but we're going to get something similar to that. So I'll let the teachers go ahead and show you what that really means. I'll answer this one question right out of the gate from Helen, which is what's the difference between RTC and RTT? Well, one is rapid transformational therapy, and that's training you to be able to do 1 to 3 sessions with people and have transformational experiences working on their subconscious, going into regression and utilizing all 16 tools that we teach therapists to use. Rapid transformational coaching is what we're going to explain by the end of the call today. And you'll get the full overview of that program, but it's a program where you learn how to ask phenomenal questions, become an incredible communicator, and to help people through, I'm not going to say tools, because rapid transformational therapy actually uses tools, where RTC is really about helping people figure out how to accelerate their life. Sometimes solve problems, but for the most part, accelerate things and deal with day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month, year-to-year challenges that they go through. So it's very different. It's really a conversational master class, which is what this program really is. But I'll let the experts explain it to you throughout the call today. But in my experience of it, RTC is just a wonderful education program on getting phenomenal at communication, whether you're going to do that as a professional or if you just want to bring that into your existing career. So I took it as the CEO of RTT so that I could coach and communicate with my team a lot better. And it's been incredibly effective already. And I'm not even 2 months in. So it's been really wonderful for me. But anyways, let me introduce you to the stars of the show. So the first person here is our head RTC coach. She is dual qualified. So she's actually been through Rapid Transformational Therapy and Rapid Transformational Coaching and helped design the entire program. So she is just a star and everyone gives rave reviews about her. She also coaches in her own personal business or private practice. And she really helps thought leaders, world leaders, and people that want to do high performance in their life. And she's incredible. And you'll see what I mean as soon as she starts talking. And she's co-hosting today with Jake Clapson, who is one of the head trainers for the Rapid Transformational Coaching Program. And he's incredible. I've gotten to spend a lot of in-person time with him, and he's just also such a rising star. He's a squad leader in one of the teams in the company. He's just an incredible person that I know you're going to love by the end of this. And without any further ado, I will introduce to you Kira Ash and Jake Clapson. Welcome to the show, and feel free to take it away and bring them through an incredible educational experience.
Thank you so much, Skip. I think I should have you introduce me all the time, even to my friends, perhaps. And it's always a pleasure working with Jake. So welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. Maybe you're already a coach, maybe you're thinking about coaching, maybe you're thinking about training in RTC, which I highly recommend. And just like Skip said, today is all about really pushing the curtains back so you can see what would we do in a rapid transformational coaching training. One of the things I love about the RTC program, because I think it's really important for developing truly exceptional coaches, is that you have real life demonstrations. You get to see very regularly in the program, authentic, non-scripted coaching conversations. And that's so important because true coaches don't use scripts. And so you need to see real coaching in order for you to be able to embody that and live in that state of spontaneity in your own coaching practice. So that's one of the differences between RTC coaching and some of the other programs that are out there, is that not only are you expected to be able to be someone who can think on your feet and coach spontaneously, we actually show you what that looks like ourselves and give you the space to practice mastering that in your own coaching journey on the program. So you're going to get a little taster of that today, but we'd love to talk about what's really at the soul of RTC, and that's really the combination and the relationship between thoughts, feeling, and actions. If we think about rapid transformational therapy, it's very much about healing, and it's about the emotions that are blocking us and keeping us trapped in stuck patterns. When we think about coaching, particularly traditional coaching, we're moving towards goals. We're about achieving excellence, moving higher. And often traditional coaching is going to be at the level of the conscious mind, strategy, clarity on your goal, breaking it down, and also providing accountability as you move towards that goal. And that's fantastic for most people. But often you'll find that there'll be a limit to how far that coaching approach can take you. And it's when your emotions and your thoughts start to interact and possibly conflict with each other. Maybe you can relate to this, that you've thought something is a good idea and you've said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make this change, and then you don't. And then you wonder why. And then you start to think, maybe I'm someone who's a procrastinator. Maybe I can't change. And so what RTC is so good at is looking at what's the dynamic between thinking and feeling that can either accelerate your actions or sabotage them, so you can really be the master of that and not at the effect of inaction and self-sabotage. So that's how I'd like to preface the talk today. This is all about thoughts, feelings, and actions. And we're going to show you how the right questions and also the right tools can help you become a master of that. So our topic today is looping thoughts, looping ladders. So we're going to give you an opportunity to see that tool in action. But before we dive into that, I'd love to ask people who are here with us today, if you're joining us, no matter where you are, if you've coached before or been coached before, it doesn't matter. Are there anywhere in your life or maybe your clients' lives where you see patterns, where you see repetitive thoughts, rumination, or a pattern of, I said I was going to do this and I didn't, or I keep trying to do this and it keeps not working? Do you see any thoughts or loops going on? And how does that make you feel? How do you feel about those loops? And I'm going to ask Jake now, because he's got a lot of experience with this in his own coaching practice. Where do you see loops going on in people's lives, either their thoughts, their feelings, or their actions?
Thanks, Kira. Yeah, their thoughts, feelings, and actions, I think there's a loop kind of going on in every one of those areas, usually all at the same time in some way, and they all tie together. One thing that I work with a lot of people who come to me saying they're stuck. They're trying to move forward, but they can't. They're trying to take action, but they don't. Or they want to feel a certain way, but they can't seem to maintain that feeling or maintain what it is that they want to strive towards. And for me, that's where I see the most obvious loops playing out, is when someone says, look, I'm stuck. I want to do this, but for some reason, I can't do that. I can't quite get there.
Yeah, I think that's so common, and we can see, I can't see all the comments, but the comments I can see, I hear that's really resonating in the chat as well. So yes, people can definitely see that in their own lives or the people in their lives, and that's frustrating. They're curious as to why. Constantly someone says, that's why I'm here. I want to be able to help others daily with friends and family. So often we're at the effect of patterns, and that can make us really feel very powerless. And one of the great things about rapid transformational coaching is that it's all about giving people their power back. If someone is not taking the action that they want to take, that makes them question their own power in their own life. But if they can start to affect and influence their thinking, which changes how they feel about themselves, which changes their motivation to take action, they feel powerful. And you can do a lot of this with the conscious mind. So we're going to use the conscious mind today, which is incredibly powerful in its own right, so that you can see how you can become the master of your thoughts, which is going to do a lot for how you feel about yourself, and going to do a lot for how and where you take action in your life. So if you feel called to share, if you feel comfortable sharing, let us know in the chat, where in your life do you see some of these patterns? Are there loops in your thoughts? Are there thoughts that you keep saying to yourself repetitively? Oh, I'm never going to get that promotion. Oh, I should probably have that conversation I don't want to have. Oh, my family member's never going to respect me or see me. So where are some of these patterns in your life? Or maybe there's actions you want to take. Maybe it's a health change that you want to make. Maybe you feel frustrated that you don't know how to change something in your life. Someone says, I will start tomorrow. I have enough time. Wow. I definitely hear that one a lot. Yeah, people talking about their career, repeated thoughts, burnout. I've had some clients working with that. And that's a really interesting dynamic. Sometimes people who have had burnout, they're very high performers, or they have been very high performers, but they get stuck, which is unusual for them. And we have to look at, why are they getting stuck? Maybe it's because they don't feel safe to achieve anymore, because in the past, their achievement has led to them exceeding their boundaries and getting burnout. So they might well have a self-talk of, it's not safe for me to keep pushing, but I need to keep pushing because I'm an achiever type. And that conflict makes them feel stuck and unsafe, which means they don't take the action, which is very uncomfortable if your whole identity is around you being an achiever. So that's a pattern I'm seeing with some of my clients. And thank you to everyone who's sharing with us. I really appreciate your honesty. And what are some patterns you're seeing there, Jake, and things that are coming through the chat?
Yeah, really interesting that I actually really relate to myself is relating to health and exercise. I'm one of those people who can be very guilty of Monday morning, I can do this, I'm going to get back into exercising. Wednesday afternoon, no, non-existent, never going to happen again. And then kind of get back into that cycle of months on end, week on week. So I really relate to that one. An interesting one I've just noticed as well, someone said they constantly felt like they're chasing, in this kind of loop of chasing their dreams or chasing something. And that's something I actually encounter with my clients quite a lot as well, is in this perpetual cycle of feeling like they want something that they haven't got, and feeling like they're constantly chasing something or chasing their own tail. And that's often an interesting kind of loop to dig into, to find out what the different parts of that are.
Yeah, and RTC is great, because if you're the kind of person who's got the self-awareness to know you're in a loop, you're probably the kind of person who's maybe thought, maybe I should do some journaling, maybe I should try meditation, maybe I should write my goals on a list, maybe I should get an accountability partner. You've probably tried a lot of the entry-level personal development hacks for getting your stuff together, shall we say. You've probably tried a lot of things, and it's really frustrating to you that there's this area of your life that you can't master. And often it's not a problem in your ability to think, It's about the interaction between your thoughts and your feelings that's keeping you blocked. And so we really want to give you an opportunity to see how you might approach that with a client, which is what we talk about in the program, or maybe even how you would approach this in your own mind. So I really am interested in seeing what people are writing here. So Hillary says, people pleasing. Yes, that's a really interesting reflex that people get into, and that's a frustrating cycle. And Andrea's saying, I believe that the industry is oversaturated. Yeah. So I think a lot of us will have an area of our life where this is true. Maybe we've got it all sorted out in other areas, and there are some areas where we still feel we're below our potential or stuck in a pattern that we'd like to shift. So I'd love to give you an opportunity to see how you might approach this in a coaching style conversation. So Jake has very kindly volunteered to work us through an example of a loop. This is you can tell us a bit more about the loop in a bit, Jake, but this is just an example that he's taken, and he's very kindly gonna let us demonstrate with him. But thank you very much. So this is what we're going to be going through. We're going to look at the interaction between thoughts and feelings and actions, and how they cascade and affect one another. Brilliant. And as we do that, maybe think for yourself. So some of you have already shared in the chat or shared in the community about some patterns in your own life. Is it frustration? Is it burnout? So have a think about, is there an action that you're not taking? Or is there an action that you keep taking and you don't get the result you want? Is there a thought that you keep thinking that's frustrating you? So have a think about what that might be while you watch us use this tool on Jake. And then we can have a talk about how you might apply this in your own life, because I really want you to be able to take something actionable away from our conversation today, as well as see how you might be able to use this tool on others. So let's lose the slide for now, and then we're going to find out what is Jake's pattern or cycle that he'd like to break. We get rid of the slide, and then I will focus on Jake's query for the day. And imagine that this is, obviously Jake and I have worked together before, but in the context of this demonstration, this is really about imagining that maybe we've worked together a little bit, so we already have some rapport, we've already worked together previously, so we've established good boundaries, safety and rapport, and I know that Jake has some goals he's working towards, and I want to help him using the best tools that I have. So I don't know if it's just me, but I can still see the slide. Is it possible to take that down? Thank you. Fantastic. Then I can focus on Jake. Brilliant. Okay, so Jake, lovely to see you again. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Kira. Keen to talk to you, actually.
Okay, I want to hear what about. What's up?
So I'm a musician as well as the various other things I do. One of my big passions is as a musician, and I've been really wanting to do that more and get more money from it, and do more gigs, and kind of be not necessarily full-time with it, but much more time than I'm doing right now. Right now I'm kind of doing maybe one gig every few months, and I want one every weekend. But here's the catch. I've actually been trying to do this for probably 4 or 5 years, trying to kind of take this leap, take this jump, and get a bit more serious with it. But it's just, I can't seem to quite get there. Every time I go to do something about it, it's almost like I forget sometimes, or I just get massively distracted. Something else comes up, and then I avoid it again for another month or so. And I would really love to crack this right now, because it's been a long time.
Yeah, and I know that you're a very bright guy, so it's interesting to hear that there's something where you're making an effort, or you're setting an intention, but it's not resulting in a change. So why do you think that is?
I don't know. I've thought about it. I can't quite figure it out, because it's strange. It's almost like I forget that that's what I wanted to do, and then a few weeks later I'm like, no, come on, this is what you want to be focusing on. So it kind of it's eluding me slightly.
And I'd love to understand this forgetting. What does forgetting look like?
Just completely almost goes out of my mind. Like, I actually set a plan. Last Friday, I was going to spend the weekend sorting out a new social media page for my music. Reach out to some venues that I played in the past. I'd even started to design a business card to hand out to people. And then literally yesterday, I just remember, oh my God, I never did that. I never, like, I made this plan to do it. And then it was like 5 days later, I realized, oh, I haven't actually done that. And I don't really know why, because it means a lot to me. I'm not really sure what's going on.
So I hear you remembering that you've forgotten, which is interesting. But this forgetting, have you allocated a time that you've set aside for it? How does the forgetting happen, do you think?
Have I allocated a time to forget something? Is that the question?
No. Have you allocated a time to take action towards your goal? Is there a specific that
yeah, because I have quite a lot going on anyway. I'm quite strict with my calendar, the way I manage things. So if I decide to do something, it goes in my calendar in a slot. This is when I'm going to do this. I even get reminders, but it's almost like I just gloss over it. And it's like, I don't know if I forget how important it really is.
And do you find that's the same with other things that you have reminders for or allocated time for?
Yeah, I know. I tend to, I don't put the bins out when I'm supposed to. But no, I'm usually, I'm generally a focused person. And if something needs to be done, it gets done. I like to work smart and not hard. So if I can do something efficiently and quickly, I will. I don't normally like to drag things out and make things last longer than they need to, which is why this is kind of bugging me a little bit.
So what's the pattern that you'd like to change here?
Well, I'd like to set the intention and decide, what it is I'm going to do towards promoting myself musically. Make some videos. I have the plan, which I'm doing, but actually stick to the plan, follow through with it, so I can, see the results of it. I'm not actually following through with this at all, and I haven't been following through with it for, like I say, nearly 5 years now.
So you're not following through, but do you have a plan?
Yes, I think so.
And would you like to execute the plan?
Yes, that's why I'm making the plan.
Is there any reason why you would not want to execute the plan?
I mean, it's not like it's not hard work. It's not boring either. Sometimes I can be a bit guilty of thinking, no, that's boring, I'm not going to do that. But it's not. I do enjoy it. When I think about it, I'm often making a few excuses, like, oh, I haven't got the right camera to record the video today, or the weather's not quite right for the lighting. Silly little things like that. In the past, I've made excuses for. But I'm not sure if I'm really aware of a particular reason why I'm doing that.
So just as a little breaking the fourth wall here to the audience, you can see that I'm spending quite a lot of time with Jake defining the problem. And that's because with RTC, we want to be really laser focused in which pattern we try and break here. I've heard a pattern of forgetting. I've heard a pattern of making excuses. So it might be that there are different pathways to solving those two patterns. So I'm just taking a little bit of time with Jake to really hone in on what is the precise pattern that we want to break and where do things go wrong? Because if I don't do that, I might end up solving the wrong problem. So to go back to my conversation with Jake, you're mentioning that you make excuses sometimes. When you make an excuse or you hear, oh, the weather's not great, the lighting's not great, what do you do when you notice that things are not optimal?
Not a lot. Not what I should be doing. In fact, when I think about it, I almost feel like a bit of a sense of relief sometimes, which is interesting. I haven't really honed in on that before, but I do. There is almost like a little internal celebration. Like, oh, okay, well, I can just do it another day. Kind of, my dad used to say, oh, mañana, we'll do it tomorrow. And I kind of tend to get into that kind of attitude and that mindset.
So you have a momentary, that's all right, actually. I don't need to do that right now. And then how do you feel?
Well, after that moment of relief, I actually feel then quite guilty, a bit ashamed of myself. And not great, really. I think maybe then I kind of compartmentalize that and just push it away and just carry on with other things. And then a week later it comes back and it's just like, no, you were going to do this. And then I get back into that same thing again.
So you have that initial sense of relief, if I'm hearing you correctly, but then after a while that dissipates, taking the action
very quickly.
And then what?
Yeah, and then I do it makes it feel quite heavy. And it's almost like each time I don't do this, it becomes like a heavier bag that I have to carry. It then leaves me feeling quite heavy and a little bit hopeless, actually. If I allow myself to go there, I do try and avoid going there, but that is where it's heading.
I see. So with your permission, I would love to try a little exercise with you where we can sort of see the relationship between these thoughts and feelings and actions you're having, because it sounds like there is a bit of internal monologue going on there. And it would be lovely to see how that's working for you and how it's working against you. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, no, I'd love to do that.
Amazing. So I'm just going to share something on the screen. If you want, either Jake or anyone else, you're very welcome to maybe write these words down and work on your own thought, feeling, action pattern. So you're welcome to do that. But just so Jake can see what I'm talking about here, if we take the example you just gave me just now, you talked about when you try and do something or take action, your first thought might be actually, the lighting's not great today, or I don't really feel like it. And then let's talk through the ladder together. So you have that thought, and then what happens next, Jake?
As I say, after the slight feeling of relief dissipates, it's a big, heavy feeling of guilt and shame, really.
And this is called a ladder of looping thoughts. So we're going to see how your thoughts and feelings interact to help you take action or hinder you. So we've talked about thinking, oh, maybe I don't need to do it today. Maybe mañana is good enough. And then feeling relieved, but then feeling like a sinking feeling. What action are you taking in that state?
Well, really, if I think about it, something that makes me feel better. So it's like, TV. I might go and think, oh, I'll just go and binge watch something, for the rest of the day. I can be guilty of getting stuck in a bit of a scroll hole on Instagram and Facebook as well. So that's really what happens. Although it is action, it's not the action that I want to be taking. It is really inaction as far as I'm concerned.
So action, but not in the direction of your goal.
Yeah.
And then what do you say to yourself, or what do you think about yourself when you're in your scroll hole or doing something else?
It's a lot of shame again, guilt. I suppose what am I thinking to myself? Yeah, I think it's a bit like you're useless. Like I do feel generally quite useless at that point. When I've set the intention to do something, I don't follow through with it. I do, unhealthy habits instead. And then even after I had to take a breath then, because even thinking about it, it's just like, yeah, that's no good. That's useless and not who I really want to be.
Not who you really want to be. And who is it that you really want to be?
I want to be laser focused, like I can be in kind of other areas of my life. I want to set this intention, have a plan, stick to it and follow it through. Sometimes maybe there's a bit of a fear going on, but with every other area of my life, I'm a bit kind of like, we'll do it anyway and we'll figure that out afterwards. But I just can't seem to crack this one.
So if we look at this ladder and we have you thinking, yeah, I can do that mañana, then feeling, oh, what a relief, and then not taking action. And then, as you said, you don't feel good about yourself. What do you think about this? What do you think about this relationship or this dance you're doing?
Yeah, a dance. It is a routine, right? It's funny you say dance, because when I see it like that and hear it like that, it is a a routine. It's not a daily routine as such, but it's definitely a weekly and monthly routine that I'm going through. And it's a bit frustrating actually, because when I think about it like that, it's almost like I'm beating myself up. I'm allowing myself to put myself in a position where I'm then beating myself up and not bigging myself up, which is really where I'd rather be.
And what role do you think your thinking is playing in this?
Wow, good question. What role is my thinking playing in this? I suppose it's an important role, really. I suppose it's driving it. I think when you saw that ladder like that, it kind of really made sense to me that that's what's driving these behaviors. Is obviously something I'm thinking, which is my mindset, right? So it's my mindset that needs changing.
Mm-hmm. And who has control over your thinking?
I do. Mostly. And feeling the need to take responsibility for that for a bit right now as well.
I love to hear you say that, because it's amazing how we can spend so much of our energy being driven around by our thoughts and yet not put ourselves in the driving seat. We're expending a lot of energy, but somehow we're still not calling the shots. And that is so frustrating.
Yeah.
We're being used by our thinking rather than using our thinking.
I've never heard it put like that. That resonated with me deeply. That did. Yeah. Yeah. But can you say that again for me? Being driven by.
We are spending a lot of energy being driven by our thoughts without putting ourselves in the driving seat. So in a way, and I say this without judgment, it's not laziness, but it's unconsciousness.
Yeah.
The thoughts are racing, but we haven't done the extra bit of labor to say, hey, this is my thought. I get to decide if this thought keeps running.
Yeah.
You can feel tired without doing anything.
Yeah, definitely can. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. So, I mean, what I'm hearing there is that I can change this by changing a thought.
You want to try it?
Yeah, I'm intrigued.
Okay, let's get the ladder back. So we're going to see if we can use it for your benefit now, rather than you being used by it. So one of the thoughts you had at the beginning previously was, I can do this tomorrow, or it's not the right time. And then that had you feel, let myself off the hook, that's nice. And then that doesn't lead you to the actions that you want to take. So I'm not about toxic positivity. I'm about thoughts that you can actually believe. So we can workshop this a little bit, but I'd love to talk to you about what is a better thought that you could move to in those moments when the lighting's not perfect or it's raining outside.
There's a part of me that thinks about having to remind myself of why, like, the whole reason that I'm wanting to do it. But I'm also thinking, like, what, at the same time, why isn't a bit of moody lighting perfect? Why you know what I mean? Why if it's raining, that could cinematically, that could actually look quite nice. So, I'm acknowledging here that I'm making an excuse. So instead of allowing myself to let myself off the hook, it's more about reminding myself why I'm doing it in the first place, or reminding myself that I'm making an excuse in some way. I'm not sure. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Are there any things that you just do, even when you don't feel like it in your life?
No, I'd like to say the housework, but I think my wife would disagree with that. So no, there's nothing I can think of actually.
Is there anything where you take action because you're committed to it?
Yeah. Lots of areas. My family life. If I make a commitment or a promise, I always follow through with that.
Why do you do that?
Because it's my duty, my responsibility. Yeah, that's interesting. And that when I say that, it's like it's my responsibility. I feel quite empowered by that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm thinking now, well, then how do I translate that into kind of this loop that I've had going on? Having that thought, like, oh no, I am responsible for making this happen, regardless of any extraneous factors. It is my responsibility to make this happen. I actually find that quite empowering.
I love that. It's beautiful to see someone having a healthy relationship with responsibility. Being put upon or oppressed, but in this case, this is a responsibility that you've chosen to take on.
Yeah.
And in the areas you shared with your personal life or your family, in those areas, your words match your actions, because that's your value system. If I say I'm going to be there for you, I'm going to be there for you. Your words. Is that who you are, Jake?
Yeah, that hit me there. Absolutely. Yeah, that feels very empowering, and I feel, I think I've tapped into something there that really motivates me, and that is that sense of responsibility and duty. And what even more powerfully, you said that I have chosen to do this. I've chosen to take this responsibility, and so I'm making that choice myself. And that, I find that very empowering. That's quite motivating. I actually might go and get my guitar now.
So do you want to be a man of your word in this area of your life?
Yeah, every area.
Okay, so if that's who you are, let's see if we can find you some better words and give you the opportunity to be there for this area of your life in a similar way to the way you are for other people. You make a commitment and you see it through because that's who you are.
Yeah.
So knowing that's who you are, am I right about you?
Yeah.
If that's who you are, what would you be thinking when it's time to share and create music?
Yeah, that this is like it does feel like a duty. It feels like a responsibility. Like I have, and it's my own music. It's original music that I've written as well, and I have a duty and a responsibility to share that to myself and to my family as well. Like part of the reason I want to do that is to make my daughter proud. Yeah, and that I definitely have a responsibility and a duty to that, and that. Yeah, I'm almost about to stand up there. Honestly, I'm feeling, it's actually physically, I'm actually getting a real reaction to that thought, which is really interesting. Because I'll be honest, I was slightly skeptical, but that's really, really interesting.
What do you want your daughter to think about you and your relationship to what you say you're going to do?
That I stick to my word.
Because kids, what they see you do, not just what you tell them to do.
Yeah, they never do what you tell them to do. They always do what they see you doing. Yeah, absolutely. And that is that's a powerful reminder. Yeah, I've had this loop in my head now. I have duty and a responsibility. That's already going on for me.
That's a beautiful start, and let's apply it to these areas where, so you've got an action that you've decided to take, And what's your thought when maybe it's like, oh, I'm a bit tired, or is it the right time, or oh, I've just got a phone call I need to make? What's the thought? What's that beautiful thought that you just gave to yourself right then?
Yeah, I mean, what came to me straight away was I have chosen to take on this responsibility for myself, and I have a duty to follow that through and carry that out.
Yeah.
And that sounds it sounds a bit not mundane but when I feel it, it's very, very different.
Tell me how it makes you feel, because that's the next stage on our ladder.
Yeah, motivated, really empowered, and really excited again, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas previously it was maybe a bit avoidant, if I really think about it. I'm actually not. I can't, like I said, I can't wait to finish this session now and go and pick up my guitar. And yeah, maybe that's another thing as well. Maybe I'm planning things a little bit too. Maybe that's for another discussion. But maybe I'm planning things too much. But maybe that's something we could talk about in another session.
Mm-hmm. So let's follow this feeling. I can't wait. What is the action that you see yourself taking now?
I'm playing guitar. I'm singing. I'm making these videos, and I'm feeling really confident about it. Actually, feeling very confident about it. So, and almost this like nagging need to get it right first time. I can feel that kind of disappearing as well. It's just like, just go and do it. This is what I love to do.
You're a man on a mission.
Yeah, and I definitely feel like that now. I feel like that. I feel like I've been kind of re-engaged with my mission.
So a bit of rain, bad lighting is not going to deter you from your mission.
No. I think it'd probably make a good music video as well.
So we've got you taking action, maybe with some atmospheric weather in the background. You're being who you said you were going to be, come rain or shine. How are you going to think about yourself when you're actually doing what you said you were going to do?
I'm going to feel, but I'm going to think very well of myself, actually. I'll be proud of myself, and I will be happy that I'm following through on that mission. I'm a man on a mission, and I am mid-mission, and I'm doing it.
How does it feel to say that? Because so often we can be, I don't know, it's maybe not always socially acceptable to have our shoulders fully high and say, you know what, I'm actually proud of myself. How does it feel to give yourself permission to go, yeah, actually, I did what I said I was going to do. I made a plan. I said this was important. It is important, and I'm acting as if it's important.
Yeah, it feels great. It was really good. And I can like see my daughter in my mind as well. Like, I want her to be able to feel that she can be proud of herself, and that's an important thing to encourage. So it feels good on different levels to be able to do that for myself as well.
So this that we've just done now, how could you see yourself using this process or this ladder when you're working on your music?
Yeah, I'm going to, I know that, I'm going to set a plan with intention, and I'm not going to say I'm going to do it next week. I'm going to just start it. Because I am wondering, if I keep the same conditions that were perpetuating the previous cycle, then I could end up back there. So it's changing those conditions. So not make this plan on a Friday evening and forget about it until the following Thursday. It's about, I've got time. I could go and pick up my guitar right now and do that and record something. So I think it's going to help me stop making those excuses. And I think, and I hope that when I go to kind of say, oh no, I'll do it tomorrow, that this conversation in particular and what we've just done there is going to trigger something in me to say, hang on, you're on a mission here. This is your duty that you've decided to carry out. Yeah, I'm hoping, and I believe that actually that's going to work. That's going to help me.
So say those words again, because I want you to be really prepared for when the gremlins come and visit and say, oh, do it tomorrow. Well, you get distracted. Life happens to all of us. So say it again. What are the thoughts that you, as the driver of your thoughts, can put into the equation? What are the thoughts that you can tell yourself?
This is my mission.
Mm-hmm.
That's becoming really powerful for me the more I say it. This is my mission, my duty, and my responsibility. And yeah, I think that quite simply that is what's, I can almost feel it's like a different part of me or a different person is coming out as I say those words, instead of like, oh, I'll just do it tomorrow and go and watch 4 in a bed for the rest of the day. It's yeah, I can actually see myself doing that now.
Are you noticing anything about your energy right now?
Yeah, I'm feeling much higher energy. I came into here feeling kind of intrigued, a little bit skeptical, thinking, what can we do about this? But that's been really simple and really quite powerful. So yeah, watch this space.
Yeah. So what are you taking from our conversation today?
That although I am quite a self-aware person, there are always areas that I can't see, and that's why it's incredible to have people like yourself to help me see them. That I mean, what's motivating me in various different areas, even areas we haven't even discussed today. It's the same thing, my family, my sense of duty, my responsibility that's motivating me and driving me, and that I do have a choice to take a look at the thoughts that are causing the behaviors that I am playing out, and I therefore have a choice to change them, to pick something different. So it's that kind of giving me agency over my mindset again, which is really quite liberating.
Brilliant. Put you back in the driving seat.
Yeah, exactly that. True to your word, delivering again, Kira.
Now that we know that you're the driver here, what's going to be your next action between now and when I see you again?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to have at least one video up on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to have at least 3 gigs booked in for next month. Yeah, and that's doable. It's perfectly achievable, and it definitely feels possible now as well.
Amazing. Anything else you want to ask or say?
No, thank you. I'm excited to go and kind of test this out, really. Yeah, to test this out myself as well. But I think it's a really useful thing for my family as well. This kind of way of looking at my behaviors and what, why we are doing things we are doing. I think that's going to be really valuable, particularly with my daughter as well. So yeah, very grateful for that. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure, and because we know you're a man of your word, I'm looking forward to hearing how you get on next time.
Bless you. Thank you, Kira.
Thank you as well.
Wow, what an amazing demonstration there. So for context for everybody, this is what one of the group development sessions or a piece of a virtual classroom actually feels like. This isn't an entire coaching session. This was Kira and Jake taking one very real thing for him. I had a conversation with him about this, I think yesterday or the day before. So this is a very real thing for Jake, which is why it felt so real. Because I actually think, and Jake, maybe I could ask, maybe in like 20 minutes, maybe you want to pull out the guitar for us and do a little ditty. Would you be open to that?
If I had it here, I don't actually have it with me, and that is not an excuse. It's not.
Okay.
I did do a gig recently, and part of my guitar broke, so it is being fixed. But that isn't an excuse. But I am holding myself to this YouTube channel starting next week, so you can hold me accountable to that.
Amazing. Awesome. The next time we see Jake, we'll have him play something for us. That'll be wonderful.
For sure.
So when we look at RTC and Kira, we can talk about this a little bit. The whole journey has been really interesting. So like I said in the beginning, I've been in the program that started in September, which was the first RTC cohort in a long time. And we meet twice a week. for the first 3 months. I mean, it's either a practice circle or a group development session or a virtual classroom, which are three very different things in the program. You've got your virtual classrooms, which are about 4 hours long. They happen every 2 weeks for the first 3 months. And you usually have about 2 practice rounds in a virtual classroom where Kira does this. She'll explain some things. She'll do a sample of coaching, or some of the coaches will sample it, and then we'll go and practice it in our little breakout rooms. So it'd be like the 3 of us where Kira would coach Jake and I'll be watching. And then at the end of that, practicing something like looping ladder like this, and we all try to do real things to the best of our ability. You can do a role play if you want to, but most people tend to do something real in their life, which is really, really helpful. This will be on YouTube under live stream, so you can go and watch this whenever you want, and we'll send out a replay to everyone who attended and signed up for this. And then Jake would coach me, and Kira would be watching and then give feedback at the end of it, and then I would coach Kira. So it's really great how you get to see multiple iterations and styles of the same thing. So like the looping ladder we just did actually a few days ago in the virtual classroom. And then everyone gets to practice this exact thing where we look at a negative thought and we look at what would be the positive thought, and we follow that down the ladder. And this is just one example of many things that we learn in rapid transformational coaching in the program. And you can see, as opposed to what maybe standard coaching looks like and feels like, there's a lot more emotion in it. And so much of the coaching modality that I'm noticing in the program is about really fine tuning exactly what the person's there for. So Kira, can you expand on that a little bit about why it's so important to really spend time figuring out what they're actually going for in the session?
Yes, thank you for asking that question, because I think it's really makes the difference between coaching that's, oh, that was interesting, and coaching that actually makes a difference in a sustainable way. So one of the things I love about the RTC program, and actually all good coaching practices, is that we don't take the client's first answer for granted. Often when people come for coaching, they know they want a change, but they might not know exactly what that change looks like. They might not be able to articulate it very well. There are many people who have grown up in environments where what they wanted wasn't very important. So they haven't practiced the muscles of articulating what they want. And therefore they find it hard to even tell themselves what they want. So they might say, I want this, I want success, I want to be a New York Times bestseller, I want this kind of career. But the more you ask questions, you realize they want to be seen, they want validation, they want a particular person to get them. And it's not wrong that there are desires within and behind our desires. But if you don't start with the real desire, you can do a lot of work as a coach, and you can help them develop strategies. You can even tell them exactly what to do, and they won't do it, because deep down they know, actually, what I want is this. And they're smart enough to know there's probably an easier way of getting that. So they don't take action on the thing that they said they would. And you end up in a loop that you've actually helped create as a coach. And then you start doubting your skills as a coach, and they start doubting either your coaching skills, or even worse, they start doubting themselves. They start to think, maybe I'm someone who can't be helped. I've tried a coach, I've tried hiring coaches, I've tried accountability, and I'm not getting results. I'm the problem. They are not the problem. The failure to articulate what they really want, which is a skill in itself that many people do not have, is the problem. And so what I love about the RTC program is that we spend a lot of time on questioning techniques. We use unlocking questions, we use paraphrasing, checking in with the client, asking permission. There are lots of ways to make sure you're very rigorously identifying what is the client wanting and getting them to sign off on it as well. Because sometimes people say, oh yeah, that would be nice. But they haven't fully, just like Jake was talking about, you've said you want it, but have you really committed to doing the work to get it? Because if you haven't, what's the point of me working my butt off as a coach if you haven't fully decided that you want it? So it's also to protect you as a coach. It protects both the client and the coach if you're both very clear from the outset, what do they want? And you can be very clear, yes, I can help you with that, or no, that's outside of my remit. Let me refer you to someone else who can.
Absolutely. So in the chat real quick, for everybody here, what is something you would like to bring to a coaching session? Like, let's say you were having a coaching session with Kira or Jake, or maybe you're in the RTC program and you're going to do one of these exercises like we just did. What would you bring? What's something right now that you would want to work on? What's something that you'd like to get a session on, whether it's in the training program or from a coach yourself? So in the chat, is there any hypnosis in RTC? We'll cover that in the Q&A in a few minutes. because we can talk so much about why RTC was formed and what skill set this really brings to the table. Because ultimately, and in my experience of helping people all over the world in many different industries, the single most important skill that someone can get to succeed in life is to that skill that Kira just mentioned, figure out what you actually want. That one exercise, that muscle, that skill is figuring out what someone actually wants. Because when you are doing the thing and you're going after the thing that you truly want, that seems completely reasonable and you feel like you deserve it, you're going to get it. So much of everything that we do as a company, from therapy to coaching to hypnosis, it is all helping people figure out what they want, feel like they deserve it, and achieve it. Whether that's having a family, having a farm, building a really successful business, getting more money, whatever it is, we just want you to feel like you deserve it. And we've created so many transformational career training programs to create an army, 250,000 or so is our goal, of people that can go out into the world and help everyone get what they want and contribute to the world in a beautiful way. And that's all RTCs are trained to do, is to go out and help that in a different way than therapists. And so RTCs is really that mastery of communication. Like you just saw Kira just throw down on this webinar right now in a really powerful and beautiful way. I'm seeing all sorts of incredible examples here: lack of exercise, self-sabotage, an empath who wants to be more assertive. Yeah, these are beautiful, beautiful goals. The hesitation to move forward, circular self-defense, someone being bored at work, want to be more interested in the present, someone promoting their RTT business. Yeah, absolutely. Own healing business, put themselves out there and earn a living. Absolutely. These are great, great things to bring to a coaching session, and especially through the RTC program to consistently work on these things. Because imagine, Kira, correct me if I'm wrong, we have about 20 of these practice circles. I mean, we have 10 practice circles, but between group development sessions and virtual classrooms, we get about 20 to 30 times where we practice this. We practice different elements and different tools.
Yeah, it's a very practical discipline. So we make sure that you practice. We almost push you to practice because that's the way you learn. You have to jump into the cold water, but it warms up once you're in it. So you're absolutely right. We have 10 weeks of practice circles. You can come twice a week, you can come once a week, you have to come to at least 10, but that's an opportunity to really, you see what we've done in the virtual classrooms, and the practice circle is when you can apply that into a scenario. Sometimes there's a video of a specific aspect of coaching. So we are giving you opportunities to see scenarios or the fine tuning skills of a coach, and then see how you could apply that to your own scenario, or we give you an opportunity to consolidate some of the tools that you have learned in the virtual classroom. So when you walk away from the program, it's not like, oh, I did that thing once 8 weeks ago and I think I could try and do it again. You've done it multiple times and you've seen other people do it multiple times, and someone's done it to you. So you feel really secure that you can use those things credibly with your clients. We want you to feel not just like that you've learned about coaching, that you've actually become a coach through the process of doing this course. That's so important.
And you'll see, I just put this up on the screen so that there's a visual implement for everyone to understand, but this is the official announcement of our first ever weekend Rapid Transformational Coaching cohort. So the way that the Rapid Transformational Coaching program works is it's about 6 months on average for people. Some people do it faster, 4 months, 5 months, but the first 3 months are an intensive phase. And that's these dates that you see here. The very first day of the official Rapid Transformational Coaching is a virtual classroom. So imagine the very first day that the program begins, you get on, we're going to be together for 4 hours like this with Kira, with Jake, and you're going through and you're practicing this. They're going to do some instructional, show you how it's done, and then you're going to practice in that 3-person group with trainers coming around into the breakout rooms and helping you. And that's how it works. And you'll see there's a virtual classroom every other week on average, with an exception because of Christmas in there. There's group development sessions that happen about every other week. And then there's the practice circles that happen twice a week in especially the intensive phase. And if you do need extra practice circles, I know Kira has made some exceptions where you can jump into practice circles of other cohorts in the case that you missed some and you need to jump into some extra ones, because there's always multiple cohorts running at any given time. But it's really important that you can, if you're going to sign up for this weekend cohort that starts in November, that you can attend the virtual classroom dates and the group development sessions. If you miss one, that is something that can be worked around, but you shouldn't miss more than one, because you can always attend a virtual classroom from a different cohort. But it's good to be able to go to each one, because you'll see you make really good friends. Like, I've made so many good friends in my cohort, and I'm consistently working with the same people. And actually, in my practice coaching the same people through their whole journey. It's been really fascinating, actually, because I think I've had 5 or 6 sessions with certain people in my cohort, and we're going further and further down the path, and then they're helping me as well. I've had 3 or 4 sessions with the same person now, where they're consistently bringing me further down the, I mean, it's just an incredible online education experience, to be honest. Like, there's modules and there's online videos that you watch and a workbook that you do, but the in-person, like this live online classroom experience, is second to none. I mean, it's really incredible. They do such a great job at hosting it. So we've got the next cohort opening up. I'm going to have the team drop in the links. Definitely book a call with someone on the team to explore if this is what you want to do. If you were really moved by this today, if you felt like Kira had a really powerful skill set, go ahead and book a call with the team. If you're concerned about missing classes, if you need to work some things around, book a call with the team to discuss it and figure out what's going to be the unique situation for you. It's an absolutely wonderful program. I know we don't have a ton of slots to book with the team, so make sure you book your call as soon as you can, but also make sure it's at a good time for you. Make sure that you can show up to that call, because there are not that many slots. So I want to make sure that you can attend it and you can give it the proper time. It takes about half an hour on average to answer questions and get everything done. Some people go longer. I've seen some people go for 2 hours because they really get along with the team member that they talk to. Who knows? Maybe you'll even accidentally get Jake, and he can talk you through RTC himself. We never know. Yeah, so let's go through some of these questions, since Jake can't serenade us with his guitar today, but maybe at a later date. And especially if you're in the RTC program, we'll make some time for Jake to serenade us. Maybe he can put together like a little ditty about coaching on his guitar. That could be really fun for all of us. Can you teach us the looping ladder via music, Jake?
Yeah, I now feel like it's a responsibility of mine, so I will follow through with that.
Yeah. So these are the official times for this November cohort. I'm US based, often in Pacific time, and I attend these calls and the practice circles as much as I can, but it is intense. If you're Pacific Coast, this is really intense timing, but it's totally doable and it's absolutely worth it to attend. And like I said, it's the first weekend cohort we've ever had. There's only a certain amount of slots. We can't take an unlimited amount of people in here. So yeah. So Krista, you and I, we're going to be up real early to do some of these ones, but it's been awesome. And for the most part, what I do, if you're Pacific Coast and you're in the practice circles, don't be the coach or the coachee first, so you can wake up while listening to other people and just tell them that it's 6 a.m. for you, so you can get your coffee in while you're listening to people coach. And that's pretty great. Let's see here. Yeah, what other questions can we answer? Price wise, so the Rapid Transformational Coaching Program, on average, is about 6 months for people. You've got the 3-month intensive phase, and then the 3 months on average to do your reflective practice. And we're going to go through like more details on that call. So make sure to book the call to get all the details of exactly what it includes. But the program is a regular price of $7,950 if you were to just pay it all up front. We do our own payment plans. If you're on this webinar, you're going to be able to get that $500 discount. We know exactly who's been on this call. When you book with the team, you can apply for that webinar discount with the team. So with whoever you speak to, just told them that Skip sent you and that you were on this webinar with Kira, Jake, and myself, and they'll make sure to take care of you with that. We do our own payment plans, so we can be really flexible and make sure we find one that works for you. And you will get all of your materials leading up to that start date. You'll get lots of communication about how things start, what to prepare for yourself. Kira, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're going to get their own development workbook right out of the gate when they sign up and they get their T's and C's signed, right?
Yeah, that's right. So Jake might also have some views on that. But from the learning experience, you have a personal development workbook, which has a survey, which invites you to really consider what are your strengths and what are your values. So as we saw today in the demonstration, part of what helped Jake move forward was getting back into alignment with his values. He's a man of his word. When he embodies those values, it's easier for him to take action. So there's a lot of value in you uncovering your own values. And so the personal development workbook allows you to do that in your own time, as well as in the context of being coached by your partners on the virtual classrooms. I also saw there was a question from Sarah in the chat. There's probably quite a few questions we're not going to be able to answer today, but Sarah, she was asking, can I coach people if I still have some deep-rooted limiting beliefs of my own that I find difficult to overcome? I think that's a really good question. Any thoughts on that, Jake?
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. I think there's this idea that as coaches that we have to be these perfect people and we have to turn up and put our coaching hat on and be this specific person when we're coaching someone. And we forget that actually coaches are humans. We are still humans and we still have things that we'll be working on. But as a coach, you're actually kind of sometimes hyper self-aware of the things that you're doing. So it's important for coaches to also have coaches for themselves. So I think holding yourself back from diving into being a coach because you feel like you've got things to work on yourself, I wouldn't let that put you off. In fact, I would let that encourage you to dive in even deeper.
Yeah, thanks. I think that's so important, that coaching isn't about being perfect. It's not about being free of patterns. It's about being aware of your patterns and having the courage to face them with honesty.
Mm-hmm.
The question came up here a few times. Do we learn hypnosis in RTC?
We don't learn hypnosis in RTC. And that's actually quite interesting because we see how much you can get done in the conscious mind. So I'm, as Skip said, I'm trained in both RTT and RTC, as is Jake. So we love using both the conscious and the subconscious. But I think it's actually really liberating to see how much you can get done with the conscious mind, because sometimes it's quicker. And sometimes it means that you can snap yourself out of a loop by yourself in the moment. So that's really empowering for clients as well. That being said, we do talk a lot about visualization and relaxation. So sometimes if you're thinking about how can I become the driver of my own thoughts, how can I identify with these thoughts and values I'm saying I claim to have, sometimes when you get someone relaxed, very present, or if you use visualization techniques, that's much easier. So we teach you about visualization, which helps people get clear on their goals. And we teach you about getting people relaxed, which allows people to be open to new concepts. So that's very powerful and sometimes has similar effects to hypnosis without taking them into the subconscious level.
Yeah. I'm seeing lots of great questions here. I'm just going to rapid fire through a few. How do you generate business when this is altogether a new field for you? As part of the secondary 3 months of the program, you learn how to deliver a 3-session package to a client. And like I was saying, in these practice circles and in the group development sessions, it's not intended, but inadvertently you are practicing delivering multiple sessions to similar people in similar types of situations that are evolving. And I encourage everyone in my practice circles to bring something real to the table so that we can really help them. And so it's really interesting with that. But we also add access to the Marketing Accelerator Toolkit program, which is something that you'll get access to after month 3 of RTC. And that will allow you to go to a buffet of ask your marketing question ahead of time and get it answered in a 3 times a week format call with Arfa and David and Molly, the incredible people that run our Accelerated Marketing Toolkit. So it's a wonderful, like I said, kind of all you can eat marketing questions and answers program, in addition to a lot of new things kind of on the way. But I do a business workshop twice a month for all students and graduates. So for forever, as long as I'm doing that, you can always come in and I do one-on-one business workshopping support with people. So you can come listen and see how I'm helping other people with their business, and you'll get lots of good takeaways, kind of like this one. Does RTC include listening to a recording for 21 days? No, so they don't do the subconscious programming tracks that rapid transformational therapists are trained to do, because it's a very different skill set. And you'll see as you go through the program, and you can get a lot of your questions answered on the call, but as you go through it, RTC is far more of a I'm going to call it a sandbox approach to dealing with people's issues, where there could be so many different things that you come up with and tools, like you saw Kira do the looping ladder, but there's other tools that we include in the program that you'll be able to use to help people. But the subconscious programming track is not one of them. So you don't have to sit there and record a 15-minute track in RTC. If you're dual qualified, it's really interesting. If you do have the therapist background, you can do that in addition to all the coaching, which is wonderful to do. When you do RTC coaching is not included. So they are separate programs. So Rapid Transformational Therapy and coaching are separate programs entirely. And we don't currently offer any way to do them at the same time or both. Although I do know lots of people that have signed up for both, but they're just doing it unofficially. So they are doing both programs at the same time. Yeah, by coaching someone else, it can help you become better. Absolutely. The best way to master something is to teach it. And Kira has probably gotten way more out of coaching lots of people and teaching than she has out of her own personal coaching sessions, would be my guess. Although those can be used for very different things. So I'm sure, Kira, you could speak to this. When you do get coaching, or when someone does ask you personal questions, it can help you personally see something that you haven't seen before. Whereas when you're delivering coaching, like to someone like Jake, it's really reinforcing things that you already know. And occasionally you'll discover something about yourself in the coaching process. But when you get coached, you're sort of always discovering new things about yourself.
Yes. So with RTC, we really look at how you can help someone have an insight, an aha moment, because that's how you change someone's mind at the conscious level. And it can be, again, rapid for a reason. It can be that quick. When you change your mind, you might not even need to have a hypnosis session or listen to something for 21 days because you've actually changed your mind. That won't always be possible. There are certain cases where you will need a more therapeutic intervention. But for so many of our goal-related ambitions, actually, it's about aligning your thoughts with the feelings so that you can get the action. So I think that's something that comes across very strongly from the course. But if I think about when I'm working with a client, then I'm learning about how people's minds work all the time. So I'm seeing patterns and the things that my clients share with me. And when I'm being coached myself, I'm, yes, learning a lot about myself, but I'm having those ahas. And I think that's what will change something for me in an instant.
Yeah. Anything you'd like to add to that, Jake?
Yeah, I learn something about myself in every conversation I have with anyone. In a focused conversation, such as a coaching conversation, yeah, absolutely. It's and being through the RTC program itself as well, is whilst I was learning to be a coach, it was a massive personal development journey as well. I came out the other end of that program a completely different person, thankfully.
Yeah, I love it. Heidi just said a comment that I've talked about a lot. Heidi is like just been awesome in the chat, by the way. Shout out to Heidi. But she said she's a certified cosmetologist and she's been doing RTC daily for 34 years with each client in her chair. She does her hair absolutely for free. This is a classic one. If you are someone who is always talking to others, helping them through their life problems, and then they consistently, or let's say 50% of the time they don't listen to you, it's because they're not paying you for you to tell them what to do. So this program will leave you feeling extremely competent and confident and being able to create a business out of it so that people listen to you because they are paying you for your coaching, your advice. So let's turn that hobby into a career for you so you can really more powerfully help the people that you're talking to. I mean, this is such a classic thing for all of our graduates. They're wonderful people, and all of them are those people that sit in the corner like constantly helping others with life issues, and they're just not getting paid for it. So really, we'd love to set you up with a career on it so that you can transform the world even more effectively than you already do. And you can feel really confident and competent in your skill set as a coach. And as you can see here, we've taken this coaching program is quite serious. There's a lot of coaching programs in the world, but we really felt the need to produce something that wasn't just really good material and didn't just give you good structure to work with, but it was also an incredible learning experience that you could do remotely, so that not only are you able to do the education remotely, but you're very comfortable delivering sessions remotely so that you can work anywhere in the world and that you can build your digital business so that you can have more freedom, more flexibility, and really decide what you want to charge, what niche you want to be in. And that's why we've also added, and you can see we've really buttoned up so many details here, the Accelerator Marketing Toolkit, so that you can rely on Kira and Jake and the coaches to help you get an incredible coaching skill set. And then we have an entirely different team to help you get that marketing questions answered and sales skill set answered, so that you're not getting specialists in one area teaching you everything, but we actually have provided specialists in all the areas that we feel are really important. Sorry, there's blinds in front of me. So this isn't, you're not hallucinating my crazy light pattern. This is just, it's a long story, but basically I'm in a hotel room in Los Angeles so that we can do this. And is the RTT training available online? Absolutely it is. RTT training is also available online. So the RTC training, what's so distinct and unique about it is this intensive phase. When you start the program, you are really put into the shallow end because Kira's so kind, but the deep end from a perspective of in those first 3 months, like I can tell you, I'm in month 2 and it's incredible. I feel so much more confident and competent in delivering the types of sessions that you just saw Kira do. They really do an excellent job in teaching. We've got some questions about ICF accreditation, I believe.
Yeah, great question. So our program is accredited for continuing professional development by the ICF. I think they call it CCE credits. So if you're already an ICF coach, you can use our program to get your annual CCE credits. If you're not an ICF accredited coach but would like to become one, what you can do is use a certain number of hours of our program as a building block on your pathway to becoming an ICF credentialed ACC coach. So I would check on the ICF's website for all the details about how to become a credentialed coach, or you could ask on the sales call for our representative to give you more details of that.
Oh, Vlad, I love that. That's so funny. If he had been paid for all the help he gave people, he'd be in the top 500 most wealthy people in the world. Love that. Vlad, you definitely need to do this. Absolutely. Book a call, talk to someone. Let's get you on that list. That's amazing. Yeah, if you want to sign up for any of our programs, you would just book a call with the team and then they'll answer all of your individual questions. Yeah, there's so many questions that I'm seeing in here that are really specific. I'd love to get the time to answer them, but in 3 minutes or so, we've got to jump off because Kira is hosting an RTC classroom for us that I've got to go participate in with Jake. So all 3 of us are going to jump off and go do, I'm going to go participate in their classroom. It's going to be wonderful. Let's see here. If you want to do both, would you recommend RTC and then RTT? Oof, that's a tough question to answer. Which one would you start with, RTC and RTT? I'm gonna pass that. What do you guys think?
Let's go to Jake first on that.
It's a really good question. I think I would love to have a conversation with someone who is trying to decide whether RTC or RTT first. I think it would differ depending on the person and what it is you're looking for, what your needs are, be different factors that we take into consideration. So if you're trying to toy that up between RTT and RTC, which one first? I would book a call and speak to one of us because yeah, we could definitely help you figure that out.
And they both really help each other. So some of us in the RTC community, like myself, we were coaches before we learned about RTT, but learning about RTT not only helped us do work as RTT therapists, but it also informed our RTC coaching because we were able to see patterns that maybe needed subconscious solutions. Whereas people who have come through the RTT route first, they've got great scripts and questioning skills that RTC can then expand so they can be applicable to more situations, but also on an ongoing basis. With rapid transformational coaching, you're going to be learning how you work with someone, not just once, but as Skip was saying, he's worked with some of these people multiple times. That's quite a different skill set from offering single sessions. So because RTT is so amazing, you can actually often get someone's result in 1 to 3 sessions. With coaching, we've got often multiple goals that someone's working towards and actions that they need to take. So you need to learn how you can support them over weeks or even months. So that's a different skill set. It could also be about what kind of business you want to run or what kind of people you're going to be working with. So as Jake said, that might be something you'd really benefit from having a conversation with someone about, so we can find out what's the right program for you, but they're both amazing.
And I saw some of the comments that the link wasn't working. So I just posted it and I know Ariel's responding to people. Ariel, shout out to Ariel. She's amazing. and she's the one answering most of your questions in the chat, also with Laura there. So that really long link is the one that's going to click through and work for you. So I saw that the little shortened one that we made for you wasn't working as ideal. And I also know there's very, very few slots left. So I apologize if you can't find one, but you can always email support@marisapierre.com if you can't find one. But I think they're going to try to open up enough slots for everybody there. Let's take one more question, then we got to jump off to go get ready for this RTC class. Let's see here. So what's the cost of RTT? Ooh, even better. How do we know when clients need RTT or RTC? I'm not dual qualified. I'm going to pass that over.
Go on, Jake.
Yeah, I think it depends. Maybe if someone has come to see me specifically for an RTT session, then we will do an RTT session. If someone has come to see me for coaching, but we identify maybe a block when we've been coaching, maybe there's something quite a little bit deeper going on. Maybe that's an opportunity for an RTT session as well. So I think it can depend on the type of thing they want to see you for. RTC, for me, has been very much about moving people towards something, and RTT has been about helping people get away from something. So that's kind of a little bit of an indicator for me. But again, it really depends on the person, and having a conversation with them and finding out what it is they really want is going to be one of the most important things to help you decide that.
I love that. And we spend quite a lot of time on the goal setting and intake part of the coaching relationship at the beginning, precisely for that reason. So you can get a sense from someone when you're talking to them, how can I help them? What do they really want? And which tools, RTC or others, are going to be most beneficial for this person? Something else I love about the program is you get 2 webinars with Marisa, and you also get monthly masterclasses with the entire coaching training team. So if you're having these kind of questions about when should I use coaching? How much coaching should I give someone? What should be my price point? You can come and ask people who already are working with RTC, working with it in their businesses, and you can get real-time feedback. So you're not building this business alone. You're not dealing with these questions alone. You're fully supported throughout that journey.
And to add on top of that, when you're in the RTC program, Jake and Kira and a number of other coaches are on every single call, and they're amazingly helpful. I mean, they go above and beyond and answer the questions, and everyone that you're in there with is thinking the same things and going through the same journey. And we're all quite similar people. Like, we all really want to help people in the world. We all want to have a successful business. So you'll see you're going to be in a tribe of like-minded people, and RTC is so tight knit because, again, I'm talking to the same people 2, sometimes 3 times a week in these classroom settings. And then we've even created our own little, I know this is unofficial, but our own little accountability group on the side of talking through questions and answers and things. And so I've really made some good friends. I even recognized someone that I met in person in my classroom that I didn't even know signed up for the program. So it's a really beautiful environment to be in. And the learning is really profound, and it goes way beyond coaching, to be honest. Like, I'm bringing this into my personal life. I'm bringing it into my relationship. It's really, it affects everything. I'll just say that. Becoming a really great, proactive and present listener, and being able to understand what people are actually saying beyond the words that they're using, and sort of to get at the root of what they're saying, is a beautiful skill set. So make sure to book your call with one of the team to get any of your personal questions answered that are more individualized. And I'm super excited to see you in this November cohort of RTC. Thank you so much, Kira and Jake, for showing us how it's done and giving us this little demonstration of what a virtual classroom feels like. It was an honor to watch that exchange. And Jake, thank you for bringing something real, because we could all really feel it. And I know people in the chat, if you thought Jake was really vulnerable and honest with us, and you really felt that, go ahead and type in the chat, like, just show some love for Kira and Jake, because that was really wonderful. And I see so many people sharing that they've booked their calls and they're going to get their questions answered. And I really hope to see you all in there. Oh, look at all this. That's amazing. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for for really sharing with us and showing up today. And I know you didn't have to do this, and you've agreed to do this to show them what it's like to be in RTC. And it's really an honor to be a student of yours as well. So thank you for everything that you guys do. Make sure to book your call with the team before those slots run out. And it launches November 11th, so we've got to get it going. November 7th is the last day to sign up. You have a week from watching this webinar to claim that webinar discount. So make sure you book your call, make sure you let them know that you were on the webinar, and we can double check that to make sure. And I will see you in Rapid Transformational Coaching in November. Thank you, everybody. Bye.